Mark Dolan, and welcome to another edition of Dolan on America. New York City Council, with a budget so out of control it makes Bernard Madoff look like a responsible bookkeeper, is now advancing a plan to kill off monuments to the likes of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Christopher Columbus, because of course they were such terrible people of the past, even though they built America, the greatest country in the world. Make it make sense. The main concern seems to be links to slavery, a truly evil crime, absolutely, but one going back centuries, and which stains the history of most nations. And in the 1700s, everyone was linked to slavery. Horrific though it was like having a Spotify account, skinny jeans, or a trendy midlife crisis beard. Now, Columbus was no angel, let me tell you, but he was a migrant. Shouldn't that win him some support from the ultra-woke, Democratic-led Cultural Affairs Committee of the Council? He also, wait for it, discovered the New World. Not a disaster, is it, in terms of your CV?
Daddy, what did you do when I was growing up?
Oh, I just discovered America.
Pretty decent compared to your mate's dad at school who completed a giant puzzle of the Golden Gate Bridge in less than 24 hours.
Bruh.
Other imperiled figures include Thomas Jefferson, a work-shy chancellor whose only achievement was the Declaration of Independence. What about the insignificant figure of George Washington, who led patriot forces to victory in the American War of Independence? He was a founding father and the first US president. What a loser!
No.
If you want to celebrate modern America at its best, get rid of this deadwood and these straight white men with their advocacy for freedom of speech, human rights, and the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Yuck! I say put a statue of this proper US icon in every town and city. Dylan Mulvaney. She, her is such an inspiration, and unlike those other idiots, has properly contributed to the American story by joking about having periods and stuff. You go, girl. Republican hopeful and a man who seems to be getting his energy from the US grid, Vivek Ramaswamy has criticised wokeness as a form of religion and argues that it violates civil rights. He discusses the threat posed by so-called ESG, or environmental and social governance policies, and their impact on the country. Take a listen.
Well, it turns out the religion prong of the civil rights statutes say that you can't force an employee to bow down to your religion. Well, if wokeness meets the Supreme Court's test for what counts as a religion, then what we're seeing across this country is actually a civil rights violation, where ordinary Americans should not be forced to choose between speaking their minds freely and putting food on the dinner table, between the American dream and the First Amendment. We're the nation on earth where you get to enjoy both of those things at the same time.
I completely agree with Vivek on this one. This hellish progressive woke ideology must be stopped. ESG is against American values, and ESG is against the American people. Plus, there's far too much of it in Chinese cooking. Really dries out your throat and gives you a headache. Hundreds of students from Pennsylvania's Perkiomen Valley School District walked out of class this Friday after the local school board failed to enact a policy requiring transgender students to use the restroom corresponding with their biological sex. Those were the days. Kids were upset. Girls, we wanted to protect them. They were upset. They didn't want men in their bathrooms, said John Ott, who organised the walkout, speaking to Fox News on Monday. Also, a concerned mother, Stephanie, defended biology and accused the district of only protecting transgender students and not looking at the whole picture. She said the safety of females is so important. Safety of females? Important? Oh, do be quiet, you transphobe. And with all your talk of biology, you can go to hell. Don't you know that the White House and Democratic-supporting medical practitioners have rewritten the rules of biology? Didn't you get the memo? Women are men now. Go and educate yourself, bigot. Kevin Costner and estranged wife Christine Baumgartner are due back in court on Wednesday, less than 24 hours after they announced they'd agreed to an amicable settlement to end their divorce fight. This after Baumgartner challenged the terms of her divorce, even though she agreed to the deal when they got married. The new settlement is likely to be similar to the one previously offered by Costner, which would have her paid a massive $75,000 a month in child support. Not too bad, although originally she wanted double that, plus more than the $1.5 million that she signed up for when they originally married. Well, here on Dolan in America, my team of investigators have been looking closely into why the marriage failed. And it looks to be the fault of Christine, I'm afraid. Yes, we've discovered that she wasn't affectionate, she didn't cook, and she couldn't read prenuptial agreements. However, I personally think her settlement should be far higher, given the fact that she's had to watch Waterworld at least once and pretend to enjoy it. The chief executive of Adidas has defended Kanye West's anti-Semitic outbursts after the company ended its 9-year relationship with the rapper last fall. CEO Bjorn Gulden praised rapper Yeezy, formerly known as a sane human being, as one of the most creative people in the world. And in regard to his appalling and disgraceful anti-Semitic comments, the Adidas boss said, "I don't think he meant what he said." Well, who could disagree? Saying, "I want to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people," famously very ambiguous. Maybe he was just being nice. Disney World Florida was forced to temporarily close this week after a black bear was spotted running loose in the Magic Kingdom. Perhaps the confused animal was just looking for some bare necessities. Maybe he nipped out for a Winnie the Pooh. But either way, when he's found, they should definitely throw the Jungle Book at him. Now, personally, I think all of this is a huge overreaction. Disney World Florida is inhabited by far more terrifying creatures than bears. Middle-aged out-of-work actors dressed up as Mickey Mouse, who have long since given up their dream of playing Shakespeare. They're the people to keep away from your kids. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has railed against claims that 80-year-old Joe Biden is too old to stand a chance for re-election. However, a late August AP NORC poll found that around 77% of Americans believe Biden is too old to be effective for another term. Even 69% of Democrats agreed with the assertion. But defending her wobbly boss, here's what Jean-Pierre told reporters earlier this week.
80's the new 40. Didn't you hear? Look, it is. Let's. I get asked this question about once a week, maybe twice a week. I don't know. I've lost track. I get the question on age. Certainly, we all do. But what we're going to continue to talk about is the record that this president has had.
I think she's absolutely right. 80 is the new 40. After all, I remember when I was 40. I often slurred my words, got lost going into my own house and needed a diaper, but perhaps for different reasons. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week for another Dolan on America.